Hey people, Anthony 4x4 Diesel, and if you've been following the information on our Facebook groups and pages and YouTube videos, you would know we are now closed. And just because we're closed doesn't mean we've finished all the work, doesn't mean we've done the workshop maintenance, doesn't mean we've restocked the parts and all that sort of thing, but we're busy. And so unfortunately, no more sending parts, no more bookings, no more anything. We've got to get all this done, and then we need to have a break because we've been working way too much. So just remember that. Don't bother texting me for anything, anytime until further notice. If you ever want to purchase any parts or get a booking, stay tuned on our Facebook Prado Hospital page for further information, and subscribe, turn the bell on. Now, this video, we're pulling another engine out, and this one's going to be a bit different. We're going to be able to show you some access. Somebody's been asking in the comments, sorry, I don't remember your name, but this video is for you. You've been asking, I want to see how to separate the transmission from the engine, right? So pulling out an engine's a pretty big job, but we're going to show you some information separating the engine from the transmission. Don't let me get in your way, mate. You just tell me to get out the way if I'm in the way and I'll move it. But one of the things I want to say is, obviously you need the transmission lines off, which you can see, we've just removed those. And because there's clamps and stuff in the lines, so they need to be out of the way. That's just the beginning. Once you've got those and everything else out of the way, like, for example, starter motor needs to be out, right? Have a good look around there. Right, see, starter motor. You know, you got wiring looms and other things in the way, but when you say separating the transmission to the engine, well, you got a whole series of bell housing bolts like this one here, which we've loosened off. There's more at the top, but you can't see at the moment, and they can be very difficult to access. So you've got these bottom ones here. So in the alloy, you've got a inspection plate that's already been removed here. If you have a look under your vehicle, you probably see there's something sitting here. Now, by doing so, that'll allow access to the torque converter bolts. I'm not saying it's easy, because you look, not much access there, and there's a big cross member in the way. Look straight up. So there's not much room to get there. Very difficult to get those off. All right, I'll just get out of your way, mate. All right, there you go. Beautiful. Prado Hilux engine removal specialist there. Anyway, so you got about, I think you got, what is it, 3 each side? I haven't counted, like 3 each side in the block, and then plus another 4 in the alloy at the bottom part of the sump. Is that about right? 4? No, I'm talking about the bell housing bolts.
Oh, how many?
See, in the block, 3 up each side, not including the starter motor, 3 each side.
2 on top. Not including the starter.
1, 2, no, there's 3 anyway. Don't worry what he says, there's 3. 1, 2, 3 each side. Right, so you can see 1 here, that's into the block, plus another one just there. There's another one further up, so 3 each side, plus this one, same each side, mirror image, so about 10 bolts. That would technically be what you're talking about when you say separate the engine from the transmission, but inside here you've got the torque converter, which is bolted to the drive plate with 6 bolts, which is super difficult, because look at your access point. You're sort of facing the wrong way. Let's have a look around here. So there's your sump. So going between the sump, you've got, lucky if you've got 2 fingers there, if you were going through that way, to get access up through into these holes up in here to get to your torque converter bolts. So they are a pain, and it's also about all the right tools and a lot of patience, and you want to be up on the hoist like this so you've got plenty of access. There's a little bit more to the job than that. Normally we remove the turbo dump pipe, but you can see 2 of the bolts have been removed, but the other ones are rounded because the turbo's already been replaced, and whoever did it last time, they didn't use the right tools or patience to be able to get that off. So yeah, we weren't able to get that off this time, but it can come out with it there. Every vehicle's a little bit different. You got to be careful, it might touch the firewall a little bit. Worst case scenario, if you wanted to, you could take the turbo off while it's all like this. That's another way there's lots of different ways to do the same job, so it just depends what you want to do. So this is just really a short video at the moment. That's separating the engine from the torque converter. You've probably seen our other videos, engine replacement, what it looks like with it out. So that's the main components, disconnecting the transmission from the engine, as you asked. Now, since you hung around a bit longer, for those that did, we're going to go a bit around this job and show you some of the problems. There is some good problems to avoid. It's done nearly 400,000 Ks, a bit more detail maybe in another video, maybe not. We're busy, so we're just trying to get stuff done. So we're probably going to run out of videos because we just need to get stuff done and just stop worrying about doing videos sometimes. So you're going to have plenty of time now to go ahead and watch all the videos that are already there, hundreds and thousands of videos. Check out the playlists and get yourself educated while you wait for our return in August, so you don't get caught out with counterfeit parts and remanufactured stuff like other people have. Somebody thought, oh, you know, I'll get my injectors replaced at 300,000 Ks because he's been watching the videos. That's great, but you've got to keep watching the videos to know remanufactured and counterfeit, you could get caught out, and that's exactly what happened. So he ended up with remanufactured, bent fuel pipes. There's photos put up with the bent fuel pipes and everything like that. You know, it's probably better than it was, but it's far from an ideal situation. You know, the old poor man pays twice thing. Now, this one's got an auto cooler, which is cool. That's really cool. I'll just get around there and show you, actually. So you can see the auto cooler up there. That's awesome, right? Now, it obviously gets around the salt stuff too, because you can see rust on the bottom bolt. But have a look at this hose. And this is just the beginning. Wait till you see what I'm about to show you. Right, so whoever installed the auto cooler, absolute butchers. Have a look and see. I can't even see what's going on up there, but see where they run. First thing I'd like everybody to do is run corrugated split tubing over these auto lines. See that transmission cooler hose? 10 millimeter it says on it. So you get yourself some corrugated split tubing to go over the top of it. Now you've added worm drive hose clamps, which are a non-standard accessory on a Toyota. So if they were to slip off and you ran out of oil and you wreck your transmission, it had nothing to do with me, because I didn't say get a transmission cooler. I said if you drive right, you got your scan gauge and you know your torque converter's locked and you know your temps, you can just avoid it like we do. None of our vehicles have auto coolers, as it turns out in the end. I never said you needed it, right? Now, you don't run it under and just add a bit of foam around the condenser. Right, hang on, let me get it right. Yeah, the intercool's off the radiator. Yep, the aircon condenser. Right, zip tie through the aircon condenser. Okay, zip tying against a sharp edge of steel, an auto hose. Does that sound like a good idea to you? So these hoses, I wouldn't even trust the hoses now. I would replace the hoses. I would reroute them in such a way they're not anywhere near this. Wait, it gets better. Right, now let's look under here. So here, some tape around the hoses that look like they're almost leaking because they're probably rubbed through. Some foam, zip tying it to the sway bar. So it's got KDSS. So it's a KDSS sway bar. So that's going to get some movement going up and down. When that releases, that's a hydraulic situation. So this side here is fixed. This side here, yeah, right, hydraulic, see that? It's going to drop away. There's going to be a heap of movement there. That could drop down, and then these hoses rubbing on that metal plate there. Look, that's about a 30 mil gap from there to there. That could release up and down, left and right, whatever. That's what the whole idea of it is. Let's continue along. Then you come along and you've got these, see these hard worm drive hose clamps that I don't like? See how it's really cutting into that hose there? And this is what I'm talking about, right? If you're going to add aftermarket accessories, it's got to be done right. And to be honest, quality hose, and I don't know what quality hose anybody supplies with their kits really. I don't know if it's quality or not, but it needs to be quality hose. And I prefer those, like the Toyota self-tensioning clamps they use almost bloody everywhere. I'm just looking for some at the moment. Oh, show me a clamp, show me a clamp. There'll be one somewhere anyway. We'll find one later. What's going on in here? Oh my gosh, somebody's taken that off and not put it back on. Have a look at that. So have a look at that. What else I just spotted? See that clamp there right in the middle of the picture? Yep, that one. That doesn't mean to be there. It's meant to be there. You can see the mark on the hose right at the end there. Unbelievable, right? And that's what I'm talking about, the self-tensioning clamps and quality hose. Quality hose hasn't even popped off. That is the steering rack, right? I'm just, yeah. So someone at some point has done some work, removed the clamp off. Can you do me a favour if we forget to put that on? Can we put that on? Just put it back on now and then we won't forget it, right? Thank you. Unbelievable, you know? Anyway. Yep. Okay, do what you got to do. I'm just going to wrap this one up soon. I'll just sort of show these people a few things, right? Some wiring looms, electrical, lots of things get in the way of pulling engines out. So don't just think you can just get in there and in a couple of hours you just whip your engine out, because there's a whole heap of things that need to be disconnected. And so don't bag us on anything, right? Toyota, I believe, a dealership somewhere worked on this, and for them to diagnose it, they needed to pull the head off. Okay, so it's pick apart at the moment. You see up there, the head's missing. It's been, yep, you can imagine how happy we are. It's all good. It's all part of the fun, you know, kind of like, oh yeah, saves us some work. Great, it's a bit of work, but it's all good. Anyway, bada bing, we've got to continue pulling this one out. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. We didn't really want to do engines. We're happy with prevention, but some people, they, you know, didn't get to the information in time. Injectors are too late or whatever the case may be. I note that about 50% of all engines that fail have got a chip tune or remap these days. So that's how high effect chip tunes and remaps have on rebuilds, and that's just somebody else's statistics. But anyway, there you go. All right, while we're answering questions from the comments in the video, I've got another answer for a couple of people. Now, a few people have said, is it worth putting an engine in a car that's done nearly 400,000 Ks? Well, absolutely, and this is why. Because this isn't some old VT Commodore or a EB Falcon or anything else, right? It is a Toyota. The Toyotas are awesome. The engineering's awesome, and people are buying these vehicles with over 300,000 Ks on them, and they're paying a lot of money for them. They're paying still, look, to be honest, I think it's too much, but you got to pay, you know, it's the market price. Some people are paying over 20 grand still, even up around 30, 40 grand, maybe not quite that many Ks, but this is the sort of thing you get for that sort of money these days, because you know how much a new one is. Right now, so the answer is yes. And also people are saying, oh, so why a new engine? Or is this a new engine or is it a rebuild engine? We only use brand new engines. Brand spanking new engines. And the reason why we use them is because this is built in Japan. It's quality. There's going to be zero problems with it. And that's how we roll. We're a zero problem, zero comeback guaranteed policy. It's just not going to happen, right? So we want brand spanking new, and that's it. And that's what we do, and that's the reason. And then as far as money goes, like ballpark numbers, there's a lot of different 1KD part numbers, right? So how much are they? Let's just go ballpark 10 grand. So 10 grand for an engine. Okay, now we'll put more detail in another video on why this is the cheapest way to buy an engine. This is the cheapest. I'll put it in another video. So if you want to see that, subscribe, turn the bell on. Like I said, we're closed for now. You'll probably be able to get in contact with us sometime in August, and because we're going to take a break after we get all this work done, all the workshop maintenance and upgrades. We've got to sort all that stuff out. Workshops don't happen on their own, and of course we haven't got a massive team of people helping out here. Bada bing, bada boom, there you go. And thanks for watching. Hope you liked it and learnt something, and there's some answers to some questions. See ya.